Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So here I'd like to cover a budget build for the Rogue. I will be going with the Whisperknife paragon path as I believe that is the best one you should be choosing to output good damage, at least as a newer player. Assassin is just not nearly as good. It can be fun to play, but your performance will be significantly lower. Now this budget build will get you to 50,000 item level, unlocking the majority of the content in the game, and you just need to spend as little as 1 million Astral Diamonds, which you can easily get within 10 days. There'll be timestamps on the playbar below where you can skip to any section you're most interested in. First of all, let's quickly cover how you can get your first million Astral Diamonds, again within just 10 days. Now if you are just beginning the game, you'll be doing adventures from your Never Death, Velos, Gammon Downs up to the Whispering Cavern, and at this point you'll get to level 20. Through that process you're going to obtain these rough Astral Diamonds, and every day you can refine a total of 100,000 of them. So after 10 days, you can get 1 million Astral Diamonds. That is again all you will need for this build. You can then, after getting to level 20, do these other adventures, which will give you even more rough Astral Diamonds. And you can see via this list that you can get your 100,000 rough Astral Diamonds very easily, but you will have to do a few random queues to get the final 120,000. You'll just go here and you'll do like your dungeon, skirmish, even advanced dungeon or trial queue if you're bold enough. You do need to reach item level requirements, but you'll easily obtain that here in my guide. So with that sorted, you've got your million Astral Diamonds. Let's quickly jump to how to actually play Rogue Whisperknife. Just a few tips and tricks. Do recommend watching my more extensive build guides. I'll cover this a bit more thoroughly, but make sure to use these abilities. So Cloud of Steel is your primary at will, followed by Disheartening Strike when you come across a more tanky enemy or a boss. Make sure you apply this every 10 seconds. With your encounter powers, it's going to depend on multi-target and single target. So multi-target, you want your Blade Flurry, your Path of the Blade, and your Smoke Bomb. For your daily powers, you'll generally use Lurker's Assault. You then want Tenacious Concealment and Advantageous Position. For the feats, you want that Shady Prep, Dark Reimbursement, one with the Shadows, Shadowy Opportunity, and Amateur's Haste. And this whole setup here is for multi-target, when you're beating up groups of enemies. With your encounter powers, you'll use your Blade Flurry after you enter Stealth. So enter Stealth, Blade Flurry only once, and everything could be dead already. If it's not dead, then like Stealth, Blade Flurry, then Smoke Bomb, and then Path of the Blades. That's the rotation. And then once you get Stealth back again, you can go into Stealth and use Blade Flurry. Never use Blade Flurry so it goes on cooldown. And that's pretty much it for multi-target. You can use like your Lurker's Assault daily power to teleport to a group of enemies, giving that damage boost. And you will just murder enemies so easily with that. So multi-target. We now need to go to single target, which is very important for boss fights. And you will want to have a separate loadout for that. On your character sheet up here, once you're in a campfire, you can switch. So single target loadout, very important you have this. And that revolves around Shadow of Demise. So the encounter powers you'll use here is Lashing Blade, Impact Shot, and Shadow Strike. If there are like some mobs in the boss fight that spawn in, be sure to switch Impact Shot over to Smoke Bomb there. Your main daily power will be Hateful Knives, your class features will be Tenacious Concealment and Dagger Threat. If you're a newer player, I still recommend Advantageous Position instead of Dagger Threat, just to make sure you have that combat advantage rather than relying so much on positioning. But yeah, the feats remain the same here, except Shadow of Demise instead of Shadowy Opportunity. Very important. And now your rotation, becomes a bit more strict. You need to follow this order of abilities, and it's based on how many tacticians you have. So the beginning of the game, you'll have 0 tacticians, and you'll just use this. Tactician's Precision is a mount insignia bonus, which gives you a bunch of cooldown reduction after you use your daily power, allowing you to use more encounter powers. Very, very useful, but it's not within your current budget of 1,000,000 Astral Diamonds from the beginning. You can see an example of the rotation here, starting with that Disheartening Strike, the Artifact, the Stealth, the Lashing Blade Impact Shot, your Mount Power, your Daily Power with Stealth, your Shadow Strike, Lashing Blade Impact Shot, and that's the entirety of your rotation. Yep, super quick. You need to do that within 10 seconds within an artifact call. Basically, you cast your artifact and then you do all of that rotation. And outside of that, you will still do the same rotation, but without the artifact, without the daily power, and without the mount power while they're on cooldown. I do recommend watching gameplay videos, and you can have a look at that for yourself, but definitely practice that rotation as it's very important for you. Now we need to work on the build and getting yourself kitted out with some decent gear and bonuses. And we'll do all of that for, again, just under 1,000,000 Astral Diamonds, which, as we explained, you should be able to get very easily within the first 10 days of playing this game. So when you begin the game, you'll be at 5,000 item level. I recommend joining a guild, and that will give you another 3,000 item level if it is level 20, giving you 3 of these boons you can activate, which is that 3,000 item level boost. From there, if you're level 20, you should have gone through all of the leveling adventures. You will obtain these enchantments, you will obtain these insignias, and so you can slot them in. So you should have 3 like normal enchantments there that can go in offense, and you should have the companion enchantment. You're level 20, then I recommend going to Acquisitions Incorporated when you can, and you'll get a combat enchantment. You'll get a choice pack, and I recommend choosing the Soul Shield. Those 3 epic insignias, we'll talk about them a little bit later, but you will already be above 10,000 item level. And you will probably be like above 20,000 already from collecting a bunch of gear and other items too. But let's just go with this for now, and from here, go to our gear. So you will be wanting to get seals, and these seals will come from these random queues and heroic encounters in the newer zones. So again, you should be like 20,000 item level and be able to do at least the skirmish queue and start getting seals of the dragon. You can work on getting this gear that I'll recommend as you go. You don't have to follow exactly step by step. You will start by going over to this guy in Protector's Enclave, the Seals Trader, and getting your Lothian headpiece, your Dragonhide armor piece, arms, and boots. This will all give you a significant item level boost here, and they have some decent bonuses which will help you a bit with your damage, at least starting out. From here, you want to go to the campaign Mountain of Flame, and you will want to unlock this and earn some rewards. You'll be able to go there regardless of your item level with the grace period of module 29. If it's module 30 or 31, potentially that grace period is over, and look out for a newly updated budget build, or just source different items from the newer campaign that will release. So you want to get that quest, Mount Hotenow Rumblings, accept it, and just follow it to unlock Mount Hotenow. Once you're in Mount Hotenow, you can work towards getting the currency to obtain the new magma weapons right here. Make sure to get the ones for your class. Yes, they will cost you a decent amount of Astral Diamonds, but it's a very good investment to begin with because you will use those weapons all the way until you can get better ones in, say, some advanced dungeon like the Imperial Citadel. You'll be spending 200,000 Astral Diamonds on that. So you should have still 800,000 left. Just be aware it will take a bit of time and you'll need to be patient because unlocking those weapons to be able to purchase them will require certain progress on the campaign. You'll have to reach the second milestone for the offhand and the fifth milestone for the main hand, and milestones are basically these rewards. So the fifth one is getting to here. Now, I do recommend going to your auction house and purchasing your first bit of gear. You want to get the Demogorgon's Girdle and the Baphomet's Infernal Talisman. They should not cost you more than like 4,000 Astral Diamonds each. Both will come from the trial Demogorgon if you want to play that and earn them for yourselves, just in case some people manipulate the prices. But make sure to go and slot them in, and you will also need to get the Shard of Orcus's Wand. Again, don't pay more than like 3,000, 4,000 for it. You will go to your enchantments page and you'll slot that in here. So you shouldn't spend more than like 12,000 Astral Diamonds for those 3 pieces. And they give you a set bonus, which is Demon Lord's Immortality, which can give you up to 10% extra damage. Now, while you're in Mount Hodenau here, you want to be doing your heroic encounters, like Dispelling Primordial, Camp Defense, Avatar Flame. You can coordinate with people in zone chat of which ones to do. But you will get rewards from that, which can include epic rings. And you'll want to get 2 of those epic rings in particular, the Smoldering Loop and the Smoldering Halo. They will give you a significant item level boost with some damage bonus effects. You can see those rings in the collections right here, coming from the heroic encounters within Mount Hodenau. From there, with our shirt and trousers, go back to your seals vendor, and with Seals of the Dragon, get your Drow Assailant's Tunic, and then with the Seals of the Spider God, get your Covert Brage Assault Breeches. Both have good bonuses for damage and decent item level. Now, while you're within Mount Hodenau, you also want to get enough currency to be able to buy the companion gear here. So save up, and I do recommend just getting 3 Molten Tomes of the companion. Now, yeah, this will be, again, quite the investment, but it is a significant item level boost, and you will use those gear pieces into endgame, as they're like best in slot right now. But yes, it's a heavy investment of 300,000 Astral Diamonds. You'll be down to just under 500,000 now. So from there, we're going to go to this companion page, and we're going to get some useful options to improve our damage. So go to the Seals vendor here, and with Seals of the Dragon, you can purchase the Were-Rat Thief. You can also get them from the auction house probably for like no Astral Diamonds whatsoever. Go ahead and bind this guy, and you will get the ability Were-Rat's Discipline. You will also want to get the Hawk. Now, you'll have to buy him from the auction house most likely. Definitely don't overpay for him, like no more than 10,000, and you can just get him on blue. You equip that Hawk and you get the bonus crit strike and crit severity there. You then also want to get the Mercenary. Not the Rebel, just the Mercenary right there. You'll equip that guy and he'll give you a bonus here of like power and combat advantage. You might already have the Barbarian Shaman, particularly through the recruitment event, but get her if you don't. Again, don't pay more than like 3,000 Astral Diamonds for her, and she'll give you that ability, combat advantage and power. And finally, get yourself the Red Slad. Well, why is he so expensive now? When I purchased him, he was like 3,000 Astral Diamonds. So maybe you want to look for an alternative. The Face Spider is one, but this is expensive. I wouldn't pay for that. The Fey Panther is another alternative, also expensive. The Redeemed Fallen as well. But otherwise, don't be afraid to just buy something for filler right now. So just go to Rare Companions and you can just look through them. You want to right click them and you want to find one that's going to fit in defense. Like, yeah, the Dragonbone Brawler could work. Defense awareness. Not great for you because that's not giving you damage stats. But it will fill in for some item level for now at super cheap. Wayward Wizard, that's alright with the crit severity. Maybe just get him. But for now, I'll just equip that Red Slad. And now we can see we have all of those bonuses here. Let's get a summoned companion that's like purple or better. You can just go with your Mystic Fiora. That will work very fine. Even the Cyclops War Drummer. But that Fiora I believe you're getting just through your leveling adventures here. Icespire Peak. And so you'll get it for free. But you could also go for the Vistani Wanderer right now if you can grab him for like 30,000 Astral Diamonds. There's not a lot of them here, so he's undoubtedly going to go up in price. And he's definitely not worth more than 30,000. So yeah, if he's not available for cheap, just get any decent epic companion. You can see my companion document here, and the reason I say the Vistani Wanderer is he's very good in single target damage there. He's very cheap as well, but that could just be for now. We will go bind him and then we can summon him, the Vistani Wanderer. And I would recommend also getting like acute senses here for your enhancement. Now, if you don't have acute senses, you can just go and browse for any old cheap companion, right click them and just have a look. I'm sure you'll find one that'll cost you like nothing. There we go, the Slyblade Cobalt has it, and 12 Astral Diamonds. The next step from here will be mounts. So you currently will have a stable, probably with some random green or grey mounts. Let's get some improvements, particularly for the combat powers as well. One of the best ones to go for is the legendary giant toad, and you'll want to get it eventually anyway. So you could fork out like, 200,000 Astral Diamonds for that. Alternatively, you'll probably make more use of the Pegasus, especially if you can just get it for 120,000. It's got a super good combat power there, particularly for multi-target. Just be aware of the price getting boosted and don't pay much more. If need be, you can purchase some other mount that just looks cool to you that, is going to cost like 50,000 or less. But if you can get a good deal on the Toad, absolutely get it. Like 200,000 is a great deal. When I last checked, this guy was selling for like 600,000 towards $1 million, and so it wasn't really working for this build. And that's why I actually went for the Pegasus on this one. Not as good for single target, but still very useful. But once you get that mount equipped, you'll gain the bonus, so we get like Grand Inspiration here, and we will also get like Celestial Calm. Be aware this will be a bit less item level for you, because you won't have 100% bolster yet. So it will show that I have a bit more item level here than what you will have. But I have calculated it. You'll get about 2,500 total item level here if you have no other mounts. And make sure to slot in that Pegasus in your stable right there, and you'll be able to put some insignias and collars next to it, which we'll do in just a second. But we want to get 4 other mounts on epic. So you could just go and get any old epic mount, but let's get some useful ones with some decent bonuses. So I did get the giant spider for like 3,000. I got the white tiger for like 3,700 as well. The storm raider for like 3,000 too. And also the giant beetle. You just have to be aware of people manipulating those prices. And there's lots of alternatives. You can see when I made my lists here the prices. But I do recommend getting like 1 Gladiator's Ga bonus mount, 1 Assassin's Covenant, 1 Artificer's Persuasion, 1 Warlords, and 1 Protector's Camaraderie. So we have all of those mounts, and each mount has different stats here. And that's what determines what bonuses they can give you. So we'll just equip these 4 here, and then we will put them in our stable. Now we have 4 epic mounts and 1 legendary. You can then get some collars. So just search for Epic Collar Choice Pack and buy 5 of those. You will then go and open them and just get the practical collar that gives you rough Astral Diamonds. Get the sturdy collar that gives you bonus damage to encounter powers. Get the supportive collar that gives you bonus stamina gain. The unified collar that gives you bonus movement speed. And the wayfaring collar that gives you bonus critical severity. Once you have those 5 collars, you can slot each of them adjacent to those mounts. And that's why you need epic mounts or better, because otherwise you can't use those colors. And now you should be nearly 50,000 item level. You won't be there just yet because you won't have the bolster like I do. From here, we can get some insignias to put into these slots. So you should have 3 insignias again from leveling through the chasm with these choice packs. If you haven't already chosen any of them, you can get like 3 barbed insignias, and you can go and throw in those barbed insignias like here. We're gonna put 2 of them next to our Pegasus and then 1 of them for our white tiger. Now you will want to go to the auction house. You need to purchase 6 regal insignias, 4 enlightened insignias, and 2 illuminated insignias. That's 12 more, and you can just get them on green. You shouldn't pay more than like 1,200 per insignia, 1,400 maybe. So once you have those, you can then fill them in your slots. So our Pegasus here needs to take an illuminated, and that gives us Artificer's Persuasion. When we use our artifact, we will reduce our cooldowns. Will be very useful later on in the game. Here we're going to put a Regal, an Illuminated, and an Enlightened. Gives us Gladiator Guile, which is nice movement speed buff. The White Tiger, we'll just give it 2 Regals there. That gives us Protector's Camaraderie, so when our companion attacks, we gain crit severity and defense. Then with the Storm Raider, we need a Regal and Enlightened, and another Enlightened, and it gets Assassin's Covenant, so that will reduce our defensive stats, but it will increase our damage stats. And finally, like the Beetle here, 2 Regals and an Enlightened, and it gets Warlord Inspiration, which gives our companion a boost to their damage. At this point, you will still be like 1,000 away from 50,000 item level, again because the bolster difference, and so you will want to buy some more enchantments. You should have about 200,000 Astral Diamonds left, and you need to get 5 enchantments. You could buy those enchantments here, but they will be 50,000 each. What you can do instead is go to the auction house, search offense, defense, and utility, and purchase just 5 of these. You can get some like amethyst, cobalt, citrines. It doesn't really matter that this early on. I just wouldn't upgrade them until later on. Look for maybe a maxed endgame build and see what enchantments they use and get those then either upgraded or just bought on Mythic, because generally buying them straight on Mythic can be cheaper, especially these days. But with those 5 enchantments, you'll put them in your 5 remaining slots here. You could even get a 6th one for utility, but it's not a big deal. At that point, you should be 50,000 item level, and that is the budget build. The last thing you could do is get some consumables to give you some temporary buffs when you're running harder content or just want to damage race your teammates. So first thing I would do is then go here to your Vault of Piety, and you can buy your Sun Lord's Gift Elixir. It's going to give you a boost there. You can buy more of them from the auction house if you want, but they last an hour. You can then go through crafting and alchemy, and you could make yourself like these flask of potencies. You can also probably just buy them for super cheap from the auction house. Buy like a stack of them for less than 10,000, and finally then a stack of watermelon sorbet, less than 4,000. Keep in mind they're all temporary boosts, but they give you a pretty decent amount to your stats. And you can see them here, how long they're gonna last you. And if you die, watermelon sorbet and potency will fall off. But your stats are looking pretty solid right there for a budget build of like 50,000 item level. You can see the exact breakdown right here of the amount of item level you're gaining from all of these different items that we just went through, and the amount of Astral Diamonds it would cost you. You spent less than $1 million. You still have some left over to buy like those buffs that I just went over. And this should be a super solid build. The next thing I would definitely prioritize is getting a useful primary artifact. They can be pretty costly, but they're definitely a good investment. Get like one of these top 14. You can research and look on the auction house. You can probably get a pretty good bargain for some of the older ones like Wyvern Knives, Lantern, Black Dragon's Mark, Charm of the Serpent. They're not as good for endgame, but very good for mid-game. Will cost you around 500,000 Astral Diamonds, but it's great to save up for that. You will also want to do your Reaper's Challenge every day, giving you those Reaper's marks. You're now above 50,000 item level, so you'll be able to do that. You shouldn't have any trouble there with your stats. As long as you're using your right abilities in the right order, like we said, you'll have no problem outputting good damage. Those Reaper's marks, you'll save them up and you'll go over here, and at this guy, you'll spend them for a lot of different things. You'll want to get these legendary insignias. You'll want to get like the legendary giant toad mount. You could try and get him from the auction house for like less than 300,000. That can be a great deal. And you also want to get companions like the Bitiri and the Tamed Velociraptor from this pack too. Those will be like the next things to work towards. After that, make sure you're working on getting better gear as well. These things you spent Astral Diamonds on are very useful, like the weapons and the set, and also these shirt and pants, but you will be wanting to replace these rings, the head, armor, arms, and feet with better alternatives. You can check out this DPS gear progression list, which will show you the different steps and different gear pieces you can get after the ones we just obtained for this build. Again, less than 1 million Astral Diamonds, you're getting over 50,000 item level with decent stats and unlocking the majority of content. As you push for higher item level, I recommend checking out this video here, and that shows you step by step what you can do next in order to increase that item level all the way to the maximum. Overall, that's my budget build for a rogue damage dealer, and I hope it helps. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below or message me directly on Discord. Thank you for watching, and another special thank you to all of these channel members for your extra support. If this was somewhat insightful, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.